Hello, welcome to the United Man. My name is Shane. This is the latest on transfer Man Utd News Now.
The mic, make your short productive time.
Okay, as always, before we get started, if you'd like to support the channel, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to drop them comments, ladies and gents. You know how I like to get engaged with the community as well. So before we get into the ins, just wanted to say, yes, it is my birthday today. As you can see, there's some cards there made by my lovely 3 children. So yeah, happy birthday, me. And I just wanted to say as well, much appreciated for all the support that's been coming in. We're well over 4,000 subscribers now. And yeah, love doing this. Love support, being part of the Man Utd community as well. So, Raiola, lovely super agent, our favourite agent of all, other than George Mendes. Now, Raiola's come out again stating that Pogba wants out in the summer. Now, but this time he's gone one step further in terms of stating that it's not only Juventus that wants Paul Pogba. There's a whole host of clubs after Pogba, according to Raiola. As the summer months come around, Pogba will only have 12 months left on his contract. Now, the obvious thing to me is that he doesn't want to sign a new contract, and he won't. That would have been wrapped up and sewn up by now. You would have heard news announcing that Paul Pogba's signed a new 4.5-year deal. That's not going to happen. However, what is more likely to happen is that Pogba does leave in the summer for a fee anything between 90 and 110 mil. That's what's been bandied about so far. One thing is for sure, it will be somewhat of a hustle. The other hot topic that I wanted to touch on today is, of course, Jadon Sancho, the young English whiz kid. He apparently is looking for a return to English football. Now, you'll imagine there's a whole host of clubs after him, including ourselves. Now, you've got the likes of also Bayern Munich, who I know are interested in him. But in terms of English teams, there will certainly be Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea that will be vying for his services. I've seen a couple of interesting reports stating that he's interested in the rebuild. That being said, as every young player will want to do, they want to win stuff. Now, Jadon Sancho, he'll be assessing his options. He'll be assessing his career prospects and the chance of winning. At the moment, he obviously stands a better chance of doing that with either Manchester City or Liverpool. I believe we're not going to be far off in terms of where we need to be if we get the likes of Sancho in. If we get another, I believe, another one world-class central midfielder. And as I've said before, a specialist central defensive midfielder. That in turn will allow us to dominate games. That in turn will also allow us to break down the opposition when you see 10 bodies behind the ball, sometimes 11 behind the ball. And that is traditionally what we've been struggling with over the past couple of seasons. Now, it's not to say that we are going to be dominating teams just because of the midfield. It's also our ability to bring our own players into the game once the ball does go up top. Because at the moment we've only got we're one-trick pony at the moment. We'll look to break and try and catch you that way. At the moment, if we don't do that, we just don't score. With that being said, that's why I believe Jadon Sancho will be the obvious player to go into our right midfield. Can obviously operate on the left-hand side as well, but he is predominantly based on the right wing of the attack. Now, that suits the way we play. That suits the way we function because we've got Rashford on the left. Now, we're trying to find another central striker because Rashford isn't that. He needs to operate off the left wing, I believe. And that's where his best performances has been. And that's how he got up to 19 goals this season. Grealish is going to keep popping up. It's not going to go away. Now, there's been recent newspapers dropping the fact that, saying that friends close to him are saying he wants to join Manchester United in the summer. One thing Grealish has been quoted as saying is, though, the fact that he will deal with his future come the summer. At the moment, he's focused on obviously trying to keep Aston Villa in the Premiership, and you'd imagine trying to secure himself a spot in the in Gareth Southgate's squad. Do I think Grealish is Manchester United worthy? I hear you say. I will give you the most diplomatic and evasive answer I can give. He's better than what we have at the moment, other than Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, I put Paul Pogba outside of this equation purely because I'm not expecting him to stay. Simple as that. So we've got to look beyond Paul Pogba now, which I think most of us, if not all of us, are doing at the moment. Grealish improves us. He's better than Fred. He's better than McTominay. He's not the same type of player as Matic. That's another specialist player we'll need. But yes, he's better than what we already have, other than Bruno Fernandes. So do we bring him in? I'll leave that to you guys to decide. James Maddison is another one of our English contingent who seems interested in the project at Manchester United. That is honestly what it is. Now, he is saying that, well, reports are saying that he's been offered a new contract from Leicester. Leicester are obviously further ahead of Manchester United at the moment. They're not challenging, but obviously they're in a comfortable Champions League spot at the moment. Now, it's been reported that James Maddison is up for that task of trying to get Manchester United back to which once was their former glory. Now, the other thing that is favourable for us is the fact that James Maddison is a Manchester United supporter as well. Why is that important? It's important purely because we are struggling to bring in the top echelon of players at the moment in terms of surrounding around the world. I still believe that we will be a draw to most British players, but in terms of the European boys, how they view Manchester United at the moment isn't one of the top teams, purely because we're not at the moment. Pochettino's name keeps coming up, keeps disappearing, keeps coming up. It won't go away. Reports are suggesting, obviously, that Pochettino is interested in Manchester United, that he's interested in taking up the mantle instead of Ollie. I happen to believe that's true, based on a few things. The fact that I believe his head was turned whilst he was still at Tottenham. I believe he was expecting to become Manchester United manager at the end of the season, possibly when Ollie's, I suppose, caretakership was due to expire. Obviously, with the fact that we decided to stick with Ollie, kind of put a wrench in the workings for Mauricio Pochettino. Now, what I often ask myself is Ollie the guy that's going to take us back to the top? Is he going to be the guy that takes us, back into consideration of being a title challenger? That's the question I think we need to ask ourselves. Now, a lot of people say give Ollie time, which I appreciate, and I'll rate you for, because a lot of people don't. But on the other hand, we need to look, if we're looking at long term, like we are doing, in terms of our investments, we're investing in future talents at the moment. We're investing in future players that will hopefully reach their potential. Now, if that's the case, we need the right manager to go along with that, because if we don't, we're just going to end up back at square one again. Having touched upon Mauricio Pochettino potentially becoming Manchester United's manager, I say this, Ollie's still our guy at the moment. He's still in the hot seat right now. But Max Allegri has been also linked with Manchester United, and it's been reported in Italian press that he is enamoured with the potential of managing outside of Italy. He obviously won 6 titles in his time at Italy with Juventus. He is interested in managing Manchester United as well, because of the project, because of the size of the club, because of the history. Allegri is someone that will be able to appreciate Manchester United's history and past, and their standing within European football at the moment has decreased, obviously, but it's been reported again that he is interested in that project. Mauricio Pochettino, Max Allegri, I don't know. At this time, we have Ollie at the wheel. What we do know is that since Ollie's taken over, unfortunately, he's lost more games. More so than we've won under his tutelage, which isn't great. So doesn't bode well in terms of the record. More losses than wins under Ollie. But But as I say, he's done a lot of clearing out in terms of getting rid of some of the deadwood that we've been crying out for ages. He's gotten rid of a lot of players. Rojo, Young, Smalling, not Herrera, Fellaini, Lukaku. Lukaku, again, I wouldn't say too much is deadwood, but that's who he's let go. Antonio Valencia at the latter end of his career. Now, Ollie's done well in getting rid of some of those deadwood. He's brought in some very good players as well in terms of Wan-Bissaka, who I believe is going to be our right back for the next 10 plus years. Harry Maguire, who I feel like needs a partner. He's brought through Brandon Williams, who again could be on that other side, that other flank for the next decade or more. He's done really well in terms of his transfers, I feel. But is he the man to take us forward on the pitch? The question remains. In any case, that was just a quick update. Don't forget to get involved in the comments, like, share and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care.